Click on Deliver Page and then click on the Format drop-down and select MP4, which is the most universal standard for YouTube, and then change codec to H.265, which is highly efficient for 4K and keeps the file size manageable. You can leave the encoder as auto. Resolution can be left as timeline resolution, but if your footage is 4K, then make sure to go to the project settings and in the master settings, change the timeline resolution to 3840 by 2160 Ultra HD, which is same as 4K. This then might change your codec, so change it back to H.265, and now the resolution is also correct. Warning: never upscale your resolution in the delivery page, for example, by selecting the 4K resolution, but if your timeline resolution is set to HD, even if your original footage is in 4K. This would just increase your file size without increasing your video quality. So if your original footage is 4K, you should make sure your timeline settings in your project settings is set to 4K and leave the resolution in the delivery page as timeline resolution. Leave the frame rate as timeline frame rate. Change the encoding profile to main 10. This would then preserve 10-bit color, especially if you have filmed using iPhone or any other high quality camera. And then change rate control to variable bitrate. This would then give extra data to complex scenes and save space on simple ones. In DaVinci Resolve, if you would select variable bitrate for the rate control, then you will need to enter the bit rate, and the bitrate value depends on the camera quality of your footage. If you enter a bitrate value lower than your camera's footage, then you would be losing the quality of your original footage. But if you would enter a higher value than your camera's, then your file size increases without you gaining any quality. And unfortunately, the metadata of the clip doesn't provide the bitrate value. That is why we would need to download a tool called MediaInfo. So go to Google and search MediaInfo, and from the results you need to find this website called mediaarea.net. Click on it to open it, and then click on the download MediaInfo drop down. For Windows, select Windows, and the latest version is a universal installer, so click on it to download it. Once the download is completed, click on open file, select your language, and then click on OK. As you can see, it's a very tiny tool with a very small file size, so click on install, and once the installation is completed, click on finish. This would open the preferences, click on OK, and this is how the information would look like. You can close it. In DaVinci Resolve, you can right click on the clip inside your media pool and then select open file location. This would then highlight the clip, right click on it, and now you can see the option for MediaInfo. Click on it. This would then give you the accurate information of your video footage, and as you can see, the bitrate size for this file is 72.3 MB per second. And if you have used various video clips from different cameras, right click on that clip and then select the MediaInfo, and once again check the video bitrate. And finally, this is my third camera. So for my iPhone, I got 72.3, for my DJI I got 49.5, and for Sony I got 80.8. So if you got mixed clips from different cameras in your project, then you will need to enter the highest bitrate, and converting 80.8 MB per second, you will just need to multiply it by 1000, so it becomes 80,800 KB per second. Change the preset to quality and then expand advanced settings. Change the color space tag to 709, which is the standard format for YouTube, and also change the gamma tag to gamma 2.4, which is the best standard for YouTube videos. It is always best to go to the project settings in the color management before starting your project to make sure color size is set to DaVinci YRGB, and also change your timeline color space to 709 gamma 2.4. Similarly, change the output color space to 709 gamma 2.4 to make sure your output colors also would match. Obviously, it's important to do this before even starting the project, and then click on save. And if your export setting is changed again, put them back to 709 and Gamma 2.4. Just a note, if you're editing on Mac and you use Gamma 2.4, and then if you would play the video in QuickTime, it might not look good, but after uploading it to YouTube, the colors and the shadows will look much better. On the other hand, if you would select 709-A, your exported video colors would look better on QuickTime on your Mac, but it would not look great on YouTube because YouTube would need to convert the Gamma to 2.4, which might still distort your color on YouTube. So even if you're on Mac and want to upload it to YouTube, you should select Gamma 2.4. Next, uncheck bypass re-encoding when possible, and then check use optimized media. So if you have optimized your media in your timeline, this can help to prevent glitches. And then check force sizing to highest quality. Also check force debayer to highest quality. So now we have done with the video section. So go all the way back up and then select audio tab, leave codec as AAC, which is a standard for MP4 files, and then expand audio normalization and check normalize audio. And for the standard, from the drop down, select YouTube, which would then automatically set the target level and target loudness to guarantee your final video will be exactly as loud as professional YouTube videos without any harsh audio clipping. Now that we have made all the changes, it's important to save your settings as a preset. So click on the three dots and then select save as new preset. Give your preset a name and then click on save, which would then appear in here. As you can see, select the location for your output file and then click on add to render queue. Click on render all, and once your render is completed, you can play the output file to make sure everything is okay. And when you check the properties of the output file, you can see the output is a 4K video at the correct frame rate, which is based on your original footage, and the audio settings are also correct. And for your next project, you could simply select the preset that we have already saved. First, make sure your timeline resolution is correct, and then find the bitrate of your footage and then update your bitrate to match, and then you can simply just add to render queue. This was a comprehensive video about the settings to use and why, but if you still have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. And if this video was helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe to support my channel.